the biggest challenges I would like to highlight is the underrepresentation of women in leadership position. Women often face hurdles when it comes to assessing leadership roles, despite having equal qualifications or equal performances. But fortunately, this is starting to change because globally there's been an improved focus on DEI initiatives and the push for inclusive leadership.
And when I first joined sales, my boss told me, show her her office. Then one of the guys took me to my office. I sat down there. For the first whole week, he wasn't even talking to me. I had to go to him, like, I've been around. They are not saying anything to me. What do I do? I think I'm ready. And he says, are you sure? I was then introduced to there's something called VPN, Virtual Private Network. The funny thing is, none of them had sold the VPN line at that time. On Monday, I got back to work. I told him, I've sold the fourth VPN network. He said, how? Where? And immediately I sold it. I was celebrated. And from then, the sky was my starting point and not my limits. Women should not think they are limited in any way.
Like every woman out there, I've also experienced the gender bias. There were times when, in the middle of meetings and all, and people would just look down on me like, oh, she's a woman, what does she know? I've experienced that a couple of times. I can't say that I've directly faced gender bias in obvious ways, but I'm not oblivious to the fact that it exists. But I've definitely also been in rooms where I've had to work twice as hard to prove my competence, or where my ideas were second guessed until validated by a male colleague. There is the narrative that when a woman is confident, you are aggressive. In the career that I'm in, I find most times I find myself as the only female at the table. And sometimes you want to speak, you could be subtly silenced. But because of the confidence that I have, I know who I am, I know what I bring to the table, and so I will speak. I cannot be shut down. Confidence is the base of you being there as a leader. Confidence is the ingredient for leadership. And if I belong to that table, I will confidently speak what I know. My first board role, I was the only woman on the board, and I was a young woman for that matter, and I was the only Nigerian, so to say. And yes, I did have an issue where they felt like you shouldn't speak, and they almost literally questioned my certificates. I had to stand against it. I finished with a first class. I studied hard, and then you are trying to challenge my certificate because of the country I come from. And I say, if every other Nigerian is taking this from me, I will not take it from you. And guess what happened? Eventually, tables turned. I didn't lose the job. So that's what happened. Some women have the fear of maybe losing the job. I didn't lose the job. In fact, I got a higher pay from that experience.
I'm not afraid to call out biases. I have done this and I've had situations where even though it seemed like it was not my business, but I knew that in the grand scheme of things, it's my business and I was able to step in and help another woman and lend my voice.
I have been told that I'm just a pretty face, and I love it. I love to be underestimated. It gives me absolute joy to prove you wrong. Not because I need to, but I'm so confident in myself and my abilities, and I know the value I bring to the table, that when I do it, you're completely, utterly stunned.
As a woman, there's so much that we bring to the table. When we talk about gender equity, when we talk about diversity, it's about the richness that the woman brings to the conversation.
An excerpt from one of my favorite quotes says, as you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. Meaning that just by being you, by stepping up to your leadership role, by stepping up to living to your fullest potential, what you're doing as a female especially is inspiring other females who are coming right by you or after you, that because they see you thriving, because they see you living your dreams, they can also live their dreams. So I think that primarily by living my dreams, I am unconsciously inspiring hundreds, thousands of other women to live their dreams as well.
I love to share knowledge. Whatever it is that I know, I'm willing to share with other people. So getting people on the team up to speed on what we do, how we do it, is something that comes naturally with me. So that is one way that I've added value to a lot of people that I've worked with that are women. And in some cases, I've mentored some. I remember a lady came to me and she was going to resign her job. She was considering an offer in another institution. And I said, no, just stay where you are. Today, she's not just working in the Nigeria office, she's at the international headquarters of that same firm as a people leader. And every time I see her on LinkedIn, I'm excited. I have been privileged to create opportunities for young women who are under me who want to explore opportunities to show their skills and their talent. When someone comes to me and says, I can take this role or I can take this task, certainly I give you the opportunity to fly. So my role as someone who is, or a woman who is in leadership, is to ensure that everyone coming behind me has the opportunity to soar as high as possible. I think that as women, we must recognize our power. We must recognize moments where we sit in the table of influence. Influence in our local communities, influence in our religious organizations, influence in the workplace, and we must use our voice to speak up for other women. We must open the door, keep the door open, and make sure that we're advocating and sponsoring other women on concerns and challenges that women go through.
People usually complain that, oh, they didn't give me a seat at the table. Girl, take your seat at the table. Sit there. If no one invites you, invite yourself. You know, there are a lot of situations that I go to and then I scan the room when I see they're all men. Do you know what that does for me? That makes me proud. Like, I'm the only woman here. I walk in with pride. I don't walk in with, shyness, like, I don't belong, I'm not here. No, I walk in confidently, but you have to have something to say as well. That you have to be able to hold the conversation as well. Yeah.
To thyself be true. Don't hide your colors. Be you, authentically, beautifully, differently you.
Believe in your value, trust your instincts, and own your journey, because this journey is yours. You have to own it. We rise by lifting others. Perfection is not attainable, but if you chase perfection, you can catch excellence.
We need to continue to support one another. We need to continue to be that pillar of support to the other woman. We need to speak up. We need to continue to advocate for women inclusion. We need to continue to advocate for policies and initiatives that will make things better for women to thrive.
Women, go all out there and refuse to see limitation. Just tell yourself, I can do all things. I've got the energy, I've got the power, I've got the will. We also have the zeal, so we can do it right.
The world definitely needs our ideas, it needs our perspective, and it needs our leadership. I think most importantly, the future generation is counting on us to take action and to continue accelerating this action.
Women should, first of all, start from having clear goals. Just having that clarity about your direction that is not based off some sort of limitation or some sort of barriers in your mind or in the system or the environment that you found yourself. What would you really, or what you imagine yourself to be, or you see yourself becoming? And so you have that clarity of that goal and you start working from that place up.
Never apologize for the goal you've set for yourself. Own your ambition, be focused, equip yourself, get mentors, connect with people who have gone ahead of you. Never underestimate the qualities that God has deposited in you. You can do even much more than what a man can do.
For young women out there, one thing I will tell you is upskill and gain knowledge. You want to talk about the skills you have, but you also want to ensure that those skills are skills that would make you stand out in whatever room you find yourself. And secondly, find knowledge about opportunities that are available, communities that are available, and then you will see yourself soar.
My message to women striving to excel in business and leadership is an acronym that is called CANE. It's continuous and never ending improvement. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to build ourselves. Let's continue to develop. There's space for us at the top. Don't play small. It's time to scale up. The world is waiting for you to show up, and please do not disappoint us, because you have everything and every reason to shine and every reason to be successful as we continue to ask and work towards achieving gender equality. One thing women must do is invest in themselves, personally, professionally, entrepreneurially, in all ramifications. Make sure you
be a better person. They say that the moment you stop learning, you start dying. So you can't afford to stop learning. So go for conferences, paid ones, unpaid ones. Watch videos on YouTube that help you become a better person. Read books. We can't overemphasize the importance of reading books. You have to read books because if you want to compete with, your counterparts, male or female, you must be ahead. And how do you get ahead? You have to stay, abreast of information that are in books. You have to read, you have to attend conferences, get mentors. You can shorten your journey by getting mentors. And I say that not by taking shortcuts, but you can learn from them and not have to make or repeat the mistakes they've made.
Know your worth and own your expertise. You belong in every room that you step into. IWD, we have been celebrating for about 100 years. Not so much will be done if people are not intentional about it. So there has to be intentionality around it, not just coming from women, but organizations and even the society as well. So first, we have to continue raising the awareness about how real these issues are. These issues are real. These issues are fundamental. If we're going to be anywhere close to achieving or closing the gender gap, then we have to keep raising this awareness, not denying that they exist. So for a company, it doesn't stop at just giving women 3 months paternity leave. There has to be a lot of intentionality around it. Something like what Botpay is doing right now, right? Where you're actually taking action, not just a language that is spoken within your organization, but then you are even very so vocal about it that you are involving other people as well.
Dear women, your voice, your aspirations, your achievements matter. Yes, the journey to success is not easy, but it starts with having a clear vision. It starts with believing in yourself. So cultivate resilience, stay focused on your goal, embrace your strengths and use them to make positive impact. Together we can break barriers. Together we can shatter glass ceilings. Together we can reshape the future of work for women.
On this special day of the International Women's Day 2025, my message to all the women around the world and to the men is that it's time to do more. Whether small or big, wherever your sphere of influence lies, action does compound. While speaking keeps the fire burning, action fuels the change that we need. Let's accelerate action together. Happy International Women's Day.
Let's leave the sentimental talk and let's truly move the needle and accelerate action. Happy International Women's Day.
It's time to accelerate action.
Happy International Women's Day.